Hello, how are you, my lovely vibe-acious babes? My name is Audrey. This is Angel Ortiz Jr.
Hello.
We are back with episode 15.
Is it 16? I thought it was 16.
15.
Oh,
I just wait,
pretty sure it's 16.
I don't know. Something like
Welcome
that.
to this episode.
It's gonna be hard to count from now on
Okay.
since we just got to the teens.
You know I
Okay.
can't count.
All right. Yeah. He's really bad at math, and so am I.
So,
So, period. But today we have a lovely, awesome little topic. Do you want to introduce yourself first?
yes, I do. All going out of order and shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut up.
Welcome, y'all. Welcome, y'all.
Sorry.
Welcome to Vibe-acious Babes. A special welcome to all of our new subscribers / new people in general, because we're out here trying to make good waves for everybody. Nice vibe-acious waves just for everybody
wave
to like
on.
feel good about themselves. We're trying to become better people, and that's the whole point of this podcast, basically.
Something like that.
Something like that, right? Let's see. Avocado Papi on Instagram. If you want to follow me, I'm an artist. I have my own business with my boyfriend Merlin. It's called DD Studios. We're actually coming out with our first comic book next month called Brujas. Yes, October 31st. And then if you're in San Antonio or the surrounding area, we're having a launch party October 29th at Snake Hill Social Club. If you want to come by and celebrate with us, it's going to be a really big event. Like, each one of the girls is going to have their own cocktail. There's going to be a bunch of different vendors. Like, it's going to be a big event. We're trying. Other than that, make sure you like and subscribe, and that's about it for me. Period.
Yes, perfect. Well, my name is Audrey. I go by at first.generation on Instagram. You can also find me on YouTube at First Generation. I am working on my travel vlogs from Japan, my first solo trip. So watch out for that. If you go and subscribe to my YouTube account, you will have first look at my first video, my first vlog ever. I am going to be working on some side projects with our podcast. So I'm going to start putting out like YouTube shorts and TikToks of like from our previous podcast episodes, and like just the things that really I think resonate very well with the both of us and with the podcast in general, like little snippets of like guru juice, you know what I'm saying? A little
I feel like shorts is
wisdom.
probably like the best way to get out there, you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I see it all the time on my TikTok or my YouTube, like little spurts of other people's podcasts. And I'm all like, oh my God, these people are so funny. Like it, follow us, subscribe. You know, we're also on Spotify now. I'm almost done uploading all of our videos up to the recent one. I think we only have up until the 12th episode out right now. I'm having the next episode uploading currently. So
nice.
Yes, y'all watch out for that. We are also on Amazon and also Google Play Store, the Apple Podcasts. Yeah, that's the one. All right, but other than that, how has your week been? How are you?
It has been long. Honestly, these weeks are just kind of melting together at this point because things are just moving so quickly with the business, and then also just working in general, and like trying to juggle a lot of different stuff. But I had done a card reading, and it was basically saying like, yeah, that's kind of like what you're going to go through, and it's up to you depending on like what's going to succeed and what's not going to succeed. So it's kind of like sink or swim era at the moment.
Oh,
Especially with the comic book coming out next month. Like like you said, the perfectionist side of me wants things to be A1, and I imagine it so vividly in my head. But I have to like tell myself like it's cool to imagine this stuff and like have like a plan and a vision, but enacting like steps in order to get to that vision is more important. So I've been putting myself out there and like going to events despite me being exhausted from work or just like tired from, you know, socializing or whatever the heck. Like,
yeah, this past weekend was super busy for you.
I know, and it's still busy because the first weekends of the month are my busiest times to like get the word out, especially for this month where I'm trying to like gain a lot of traction. There's also like a lot of communication with like the people who the venue that we're hosting our party at, and like there's a lot of communication with the person who's running the vending side of it, and that's all me. Like, And Merlin, I'm kind of like bringing him on a little bit more so that he understands like what the vibe is, and it's very much like a go mode vibe, so that we're both on the same
Ooh.
page. So it's hard to like get everybody on the same page when you're the one running it, but that's what like. I always tell myself, I'm like, this is what you do, bitch. This is literally what you want to do. Like, I don't understand why you feel like this or that when this is literally what you wanted.
Yeah.
So step up to the plate.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
so that's what I be telling
Period.
myself. It's a little toxic, but
It's a little toxic.
it's not.
Hey.
It's not. It's just I'm trying to motivate myself.
Exactly. Everybody has different ways of motivating themselves and
Right.
pushing themselves. And I feel like even if it's like you're talking smack to yourself, as long as you get your shit done,
Right.
that's all that matters,
And
honestly.
then I also meditate more recently. Like I'll meditate for
Ooh.
about 5 minutes, like every other couple hours now,
Yeah.
because I just need to like ground myself a lot more. I notice.
Ooh. I like
So
that.
I'm just trying not to be willy nilly at the moment. I'm really trying to stay focused, and I already know I'm gonna be tired by the end of October, but it's gonna be worth it because my first project's gonna be released, and hopefully we get some traction with that. But other than that, it's been amazing.
It'll get the ball rolling for y'all for sure.
Yes,
That's awesome.
money. I need a money, girl.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I need
girl.
money, recognition, and fame.
Yes.
Period.
It's called being an artist, baby.
Period. ¿Y tú?
Oh,
I'm also
wow.
learning Spanish.
Sure. No, I'm just kidding. I've been good. I've been really good, honestly. This past week has been like me pushing myself really hard at the gym. So I feel like I've been making some serious gains. Like I had fell off a little bit because I went to Japan and like I didn't do like too much working out. I did like a good amount, but I didn't usually like push myself as much as I would. And I also didn't have like my protein powder and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I kind of fell off of like pushing more weight and doing my progressive overload. But I recently started doing more of that in the gym and my fucking legs hurt.
Good.
First of all,
Good.
it's been 2 days since leg day, and that's how you know that the leg day really fucking hit, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I went up in my Bulgarian, so now I'm doing 260s or 250s on either leg, and then I've been doing like 60 sumo squats and goblin squats, so it's been really nice to like
Fuck yeah.
hit some new and my leg presses are now at like 370, I think 380.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's not including like the actual weight of the bar or anything. So I'm
Right.
I'm really excited. I'm seeing the gains. I feel the gains. I've been getting compliments from people saying that they see my gains too, and I'm
Period.
like,
It's
thank
always
you.
validating.
Yes, So I've been really trying to get my physicality like tip top form, tip top shape. It feels good to like. Why are
Sorry.
you laughing?
I'm laughing at
I
myself,
fucking
really.
hate
I'm sorry. I'm
you.
sorry. I'm
Why?
sorry.
Because you're a lazy bitch. I
No,
hate you.
no, I was laughing because the other day this dude was like chat me up a little bit, and he
yeah?
gave me a free T-shirt,
Oh.
and then I went up to Merlin and I was like, that guy gave me a free T-shirt, and he was just like, wow, you must be, you know what I mean, like, and then he encourages, like, not
Yeah.
encourages, but he sees game recognized game, okay,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then. And then I was all like, I was scared for a second. I thought the gym wasn't gonna pay off. I thought I was just gonna be healthy. So
Damn.
I was just laughing at like it feels good to be recognized. Like
You know what I
you think
mean?
you don't need it, and then like it hits you that you kind of like it.
Yes, I love it. I love it when people
It's Leo
like tell me that I
energy.
look fit. It tells me that I'm doing something right. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And if other people can notice what I'm doing, then I think that is even more like, I don't know. Just it feels so good to know that you are doing well for yourself and that other people can see it too. But that, and also I went to First Friday with a couple of my classmates. It was really fun. I haven't been hanging out with people like too much, honestly, since I've been going to class. But I recently, like, okay, so it kind of dives into like what our thoughts and think topic is,
Period.
just a little bit. But I've noticed about myself that whenever I get into like situationships or like, I have an intimate relationship with somebody, I like exponentially increase in like energy to go out and like do things for myself and like, cleaning around the house, and I'm like a bad bitch energy. Like I give
Ooh.
myself that bad bitch motivation but because somebody has entered my life. And I kind of don't like that, but I kind of do. Like, it gives me I wonder if it's because, like, that physical part of me is finally getting, like, the satisfaction that I've been wanting, because it's been a while, you know what I mean? And it's
Right.
been a minute since I've been, like, happy with my intimate physical relationships. So I don't know. It kind of triggered something in my brain to think, like,
Gives you
why?
serotonin,
Yeah, I guess so. I'm all like,
dopamine.
man, why am I like this? Like, why is it all of a sudden now only when there's, like, a guy in my life that I'm like, I'm gonna do all of these things that I've been wanting to do? And, like,
So you reflected on that?
a little bit,
What
yeah.
was the answer that you came up with?
Well, I also looked up, like, some articles, and it was saying basically that, like, humans need physical release in some way, shape, or form. And if you aren't getting that, like, level of satisfaction in, like, the gym or anything like that, then you just don't have that satisfaction. You just don't have that dopamine, that serotonin boost, you know what I mean? And, like, especially if I don't know, I've had a very traumatized, like, lifestyle, childhood, everything.
Up
And
until recently.
up until recently, I've been, like, I've been turning those traumas around slowly but surely.
Right.
And, like, the person that I've been, like, intimate with has been, like, super, like, nice. And he's honestly, like, a really nice guy, really good guy. He's very humorous and he enjoys comedy. And so that's why I'm like, I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, because everything with him is just so lighthearted. And I like that. Like, I like the casuality, the
I like how
casualness.
casual it is.
Yeah, I like how casual it is. I like the energy behind the both of us currently. And yeah, I just think that, like, having somebody validate you physically, and, like, you don't need it, but it is very nice to have that kind of, like, affirmation that you are
Right.
wanted, that you are attractive to somebody. And especially if you are very attracted to them, then it just gives you that extra, like, boost, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I would say like that is a good thing to say. Like you don't need it, but it's definitely something that people like feel like they need in order to achieve things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's something that a lot of people that I've known, they really thrive in like wanting a relationship, and they only do positive good work for
Mm-hmm.
themselves when they are either pursuing a relationship or in a relationship.
Mm,
But what
okay.
I've come to realize is that eventually that kind of like loses its thrill, and
Yeah,
then it turns into, oh shit, I'm in a relationship that I have to upkeep.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of, like, exactly what I don't want. But we're gonna go ahead and,
But the first part is fun.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But you can let us know
Oh
about
yeah.
what the card of the day is before we dive into the topic
I think it's
for
cool.
tonight.
It's I think it goes into what we're kind of like dealing with today, which is physicality, and it's going to be the Seven of Pentacles, which is keeping your eye on your uh, basically your like garden, like keeping everything in
Mm.
together, keeping everything
Mm-hmm.
in on task, or keeping yourself on task, and just making sure that you have a future growing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So I
Nice.
think in regards to like the physicality, which is like the gym, you were mentioning
Mm-hmm.
that, and then me with my business, and like you also with your certificate and wanting to
Mm-hmm.
grow in that department, and then also like the romance, which is having to deal with a whole nother person, which is a physical thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
everything else is kind of like inward, but in the
Mm-hmm.
physical realm, you're dealing with another person, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe you might get
That's true.
spiritual later on,
Maybe.
but at first you're doing physical stuff. So
Yeah.
relationships.
Modern day, relationship stuff.
Right.
So that leads us into our thoughts at
That's a thing.
day today, and it's gonna be about romance and
Romance.
intimate
I
relationships.
got
Yeah.
the questions right here.
Hurry it, girl. Let's go ahead.
Alrighty. So, what was your first romance like? Do you want to go first?
Oh,
These
do
are
you
your
want to go
questions.
first? Yeah, right. Well, do you
My first romance was Boo Boo, man. And
really?
I'm not talking about high school, because high school I was a child and I really don't
No.
give a fuck.
Well.
Um, I'm talking about college. I was I wouldn't even call them romances. It was more of like exploring if I actually was attracted to women. And
Oh.
so I had like little spurts of interactions with girls,
Mm-hmm.
and it was nice. I like women, don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. There was something not really clicking there. And I
Mm-hmm.
if I do click with the woman, it has to be at a very deep level, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's just interesting, and I don't feel like getting that deep with anybody. But nowadays,
Yeah. I
um,
feel it.
except for my boyfriend. But
Mm.
my first boyfriend, he was a Leo also, and it was
Mm.
very. I just told myself like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try being with a dude,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna see if I like it. And then
That turned
I said, the first person that tries me, okay, I'll try.
out. Okay.
And then this dude tried me, and then he turned into my boyfriend, and it was just
That's
like
so
not
cool.
satisfying to me also.
Ooh, really?
Yes, because it wasn't romantic. It
It,
wasn't what everything that I thought love was gonna be. You know what I mean?
oh,
Like it wasn't like, I mean, it was very like passionate, I would say.
yeah.
But that passion, I feel, is not the same as romance. You know, a passion
Yeah,
lasts for 1 second, and
that's
romance
true.
lasts for a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. But I'm also a
Hopefully.
romantic being, and I thought maybe okay, a Leo can be with another Leo. I was very into astrology back then too, so
Yeah.
I was all like, this should be like a good connection. But I just found myself like comforting him all the time because he was so like dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself just being like, it was just too much for me. I don't think I was
Oh,
ready at the
okay.
time for the amount of work that it was to be with the person.
Oh,
And
okay.
so
I see.
that's how my first, and then we ended up breaking up like 3 weeks later. So
Mm-hmm.
we got together, we were together for like 3 weeks.
Damn.
And I went on a date with a girl while I was with him. Yeah, just because I was all like,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
you
I was
try
that
to
bitch. I
try to
was bad.
explore,
It
try to
was
see,
bad.
I
I was really
guess.
confused, and I didn't know
Yeah.
what was happening. I was grabbing
Oh.
onto branches. Like,
Yeah. How was the
uh,
date then?
the date was actually really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Wow.
We
Didn't
went
expect that.
to go to, it was me and her, and we dressed pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
My days, like back then, I didn't dress that well.
Mm,
But
okay.
we ended up going to this little like cafe slash bar place, and it
Ooh.
was like a poetry like slam night, and it was like so cool. Like
Oh,
it doesn't
really?
exist anymore. Like I was like
Yeah.
so like I was trying to
Not
look for it
here.
like years later, and it doesn't exist anymore. But it was
Damn.
like the perfect like kind of vibe that I wanted. But
Mm-hmm.
like I would be making jokes, and she would be, it would be like
Oh
yeah,
no,
and
over
then
her
so we
head.
just weren't, and she wasn't funny. You know, she wasn't
Oh.
funny, but she was like cool to know as a like a person. But like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't date somebody who didn't like fucking make
Make
me
me
laugh,
laugh. Yeah, I
or like, or
know.
like, like riz me up a little bit. You know, like I
Oh,
feel like that's
yeah, like
something that
be
I really like in a partner,
flirtatious.
is somebody who makes me feel wanted and
Mm-hmm.
like attractive. You know what I mean? And I
Oh,
feel like
yeah.
that's what I really like in romance, and that would lead me down a whole nother path
Mm-hmm.
where I was just letting anybody in who like
Okay.
gave me attention and gave me like any type of like compliment, which is
Yeah.
also not good. So
And no, maybe not, but at the same time, nowadays I feel like, you'll have a bigger under a better understanding about what you want like actually in your standards, you know what
yeah.
I mean, in a
Well, now that I'm
romance.
older, like back then, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
Like I
exactly.
was,
That was your first one, your
yeah, that
first
was like
romance.
first kind of, and I wasn't really dating. I didn't date at all in
Oh,
high
really?
school.
No?
No.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense though, because
Yeah.
you were also at like what, a Christian academy, right? Or
I was
Catholic?
at a Catholic school, and there was like
Yeah.
a couple girls that I kind of vibed with.
Mm.
There was like three,
Mm.
but like I never did anything about it because I was scared, and I was like, "Bitch, I don't know
Yeah. Yeah,
you. You don't even
exactly.
know me.
Yeah.
You
Like
know the
why would
surface
I?
level me."
Why would I fuck with you?
Also, like some other stuff happened, but we won't talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What was your first romance like?
Like the first person that I ever really, really liked and like enjoyed, I really honestly like this is so bad to say.
Ew.
But
I say ew.
I really didn't like like love or like feel romantically inclined to a lot of the dudes that I dated up until my late boyfriend, to be honest with you.
Same.
And but my first like romantic experience was with somebody online over a video game.
Romantic on a video game.
He flew all the way from Vegas to see me. Yeah,
Sounds
but
like a fool.
he was a psycho,
Oh
bro. I
shit.
think to this day he's still a
God bless
psycho.
his heart.
Because whenever I was trying to break up with him, he was also abusive towards me.
So y'all were together.
We were together, but like as soon as he had landed, he got here, I immediately was like regretting my decision because I was not attracted to him.
Oh, he was ugly? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Like that.
He was ugly physically and mentally and like inside. Like there's something a little off about him and he never wanted to tell me. And like that is kind of a red flag to me because we were
For sure.
talking to each other for so long and it was an online relationship and I can't really even remember like what our conversations were like, but they were like nonsensical and over Skype, and like he used to be afraid of like showing his face on Skype, and like then I realized like, oh, it's because this guy's a fucking catfish, because whenever I saw him in real life, like, oh, he was not the kind of guy that I expected him to be. He doesn't look like his pictures. And like when you're on Skype, you know, like the webcams back then used to be not so good, so I would give
Right.
him the benefit of the doubt and I'd be like,
You're like,
"Ah."
oh, it's just the webcam.
Yeah, and it's dark in his room, and like all you could see was his puffy curly hair, and like he was a Hispanic guy, and like, you know, he had the Spanish speaking, and I thought that was sexy, and I don't know,
I'm telling you.
like,
Learn Spanish.
but I just like his mannerisms threw me off, and then eventually he started getting a
What
little
about
bit more
them?
physical, like with me, because I told him that I didn't want to be with him in that way, but he had already planned for like a week and a half of like a stay in San Antonio, and I had like,
When did you tell him?
I told him the second day. I told him that
I'd be
because
mad too.
hey, look, I'm a very upfront person. I've always
Right.
been very upfront. I've been very honest.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, I don't think that like I want to be with you like in a romantic
On the
sense.
second date.
I-
I guess get it over
I
with
couldn't
fast.
hide
Like
it.
no, like get it over with
But
fast.
I was like trying to be his friend still, and he was like, well, we could still mess around. He couldn't even get hard, bro. Literally, like he couldn't even get hard. But that's my other thing is that like he kind of had like,
God bless him. How old was he?
he was 18.
Damn. It's alive and well out there in the world.
But the thing is I think that he was gay.
Oh.
Because the way that he talked, the way that he walked, the way that he talked to me, the way that he like would sass me a little bit,
Oh.
it like kind of equivalated to a little bit of gay mannerisms. And I don't want to like, you know, encapsulate gay people in that kind of, because I've learned about all of the different spectrums
Might
of
be
gay
bi or
people, and
something, I don't
exactly,
know.
yeah, but it just like kind of clicked in my head like later on down the line that like, oh, maybe this guy was gay. But he was obsessive with me. Like he
was
literally,
like, I got one now. I'm not gonna let her go.
so look, I told him that right on the second day that I only wanted to be friends with him, and then he still tried to fuck me. I told him like, okay, he couldn't get hard. I didn't want to fuck him anymore. He would push me down, and he would try to put his flaccid dick in me. And so
Oh, Lord
I
have
don't even
mercy.
really want to like consider that sexual assault because nothing really happened.
That's embarrassing for
But
him.
at the same time,
But
like the
I'm so sorry
intention
that
was
happened to you.
there. I thank you, I guess. Thank you for empathizing with me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Like I really don't know what to think about that situation. Like
That's
in the
terrible.
moment, like I was like, oh my god, this guy's trying to fucking rape me, but he can't. He could not literally like do any of that.
Ooh, that hurts my tummy.
You know what I mean? And even after that, like he would make me feel bad, and he understood that I was a vulnerable person. Like I shared with him a little bit of my trauma, and so
How old were you and how was he?
I was 16 and he was 18.
Already breaking the law.
16 is the age here.
No, it's 17.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, back then it wasn't.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Google it.
Because I think he Googled it.
Oh, because of the Juliet thingy, the Romeo and Juliet thingy.
I don't fucking know.
I
I
don't
don't
know,
fucking
man.
know what that is. But yeah, so like I told him that, right? I told him I'm gonna just be friends with you, and then like he did all of that stuff. It wasn't really anything crazy, so I was like, he made me feel bad. I took him around still, even though he tried to like rape me, but then for some reason he thought that it would be a really good idea to enroll into college here in San Antonio at the Art Institute. And the Art Institute, it's over by like, or the dorm that he had decided to like go stay at was like over by like off UTSA Boulevard. And so he made me feel bad enough again to be like, I'm moving to San Antonio because of you, and like come pick me up at the airport. And then I
I'm gonna look
told
this
him,
dude up.
I
I'm gonna bully
I
him.
don't know. I don't want to know anything more about him,
I'm gonna bully
honestly.
his ass.
But but he literally became a Mormon because I told him that my brother was a Mormon. And then I told him that
Poor
I don't want to
guy.
see him anymore. Like, I will pick you up from the airport. I'll drop you off
I
with all
wouldn't.
your stuff.
Oh,
But,
okay.
like, after this, I'm not going to see you anymore. And he tried to, like, push me against his bed. And, like, I literally told him, like, no, dude, like, I actually put my foot down this time. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to do anything with you. We're friends. But even then, like, you're not even a good friend to me anymore. Like, and he slapped me. And then I was all like, that was kind of a bitch ass slap, bro. Like, he didn't even hit that hard. Okay,
He
but
said,
like,
eh.
literally,
My
tell me why.
gosh,
You
what
know
a
what I mean?
crazy person.
But I was just
So
like,
that's a romance.
you know what I mean? That's why I was like, I don't really know if I would consider that a romance, but that was my first like relationship that was
Oh,
like kind of
jeez
romantic.
Louise.
And then I don't know, he was just like too much, and he even ended up like stalking me online, stalked my cousin, my baby cousin, mind you. My baby cousin was like 13, 12, 10, maybe 10, 11 years old.
Right.
And she had like a Facebook that her mom like looked over and everything like that or whatever. And her mom told me that he had reached out to her. And I was like, dude, this guy's fucking insane. That's
Bro,
crazy.
that's a restraining order. That's a restraining
Every
order.
week he would message me a long motherfucking page of something on Facebook Messenger.
Is it still there?
I don't
wanna
know.
read it.
I think that I deleted it already, but I honestly don't look at Facebook anymore. But yeah, I was just like, man, this guy is kind of fucking crazy. And he would give me like diary entries too. It would be like, hey Audrey, here's another day of me just wondering why you don't want to talk to me anymore. And I'm like, you really have to wonder why I don't want to talk to you anymore. That's
You need to go
kind
to
of fucking
therapy, sir.
crazy, right?
How old was he? 18, you said?
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know.
I hope he
dude.
feels ashamed of himself, honestly.
I
And
don't know.
we had
He
that
does.
episode. Watch our ashamed episode.
Yeah. You're like, I never want anybody to ever feel ashamed.
Okay, but honestly,
But this,
like,
this is this right now.
bro,
This
like
is
that's
a little
crazy.
too much. Yeah.
Oh
so
my goodness gracious.
first romance, right? I'm telling you, all the boyfriends that I've had up until now are like fucking crazy.
You don't even have one.
I know exactly, and this is one of the reasons why though. But other than that, I did have like a long-term relationship with my brother's best friend.
Oh, I remember you
Yeah.
telling me about. I didn't hear about this one, I don't think, but or you might have told me something vaguely about him, but
Yeah,
I heard about the other
definitely.
one that you were about to talk about.
Which one? About
The boy or
my
the-
brother's best friend.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, he was cool. I mean, I guess at the end of the day it was all right, but I think that I was just his rebound, but it ended up being something more because like he knew that my family situation was really shitty, and literally the first time that him and I had ever like slept in the same room together, it was so odd and awkward because it was like we were on the floor in a sleeping bag or like
What
a
the-
pillow and like a, you know what I
That's
mean?
a no for me.
So I had
sis.
just moved into a new apartment with my family, and he told me in the morning, like he brushed my hair off to the side and he was like, "Can I tell you something?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And he told me that he likes girls with problems. So I was like, oh, okay. I literally just like shrugged it off like nothing. And I was just like, man, this guy is kind of odd, kind of crazy. But
Did he have
this,
stinky breath? I feel like I imagined
no,
stinky breath when he
he
said that.
didn't. He didn't. He didn't, unfortunately. It probably would have turned me off to him even more so, but
Right.
I did have problems. So, pero like
You were all
I
like, "You're not lying."
so look.
Checks
So,
out. Checks out.
yeah, I just that whole romance was a little off, and when it ended, like I had already known that he was like interested in his current wife. Like
Oh, he's married now.
mhm.
Okay, good
He
for
has
him.
been married for a while, and I'm rooting for them honestly because I love his wife. Like his wife is so wholesome and so nice, and like she's also an artist and she
Oh,
knows how to twerk her booty. Go off, girl. They
period.
both live in China now.
Oh shit,
I
that's
know. It
cool.
is cool. I'm like a little jealous, honestly, but I love that for them. So but to be quite honest, whenever their like little spark was sparking, I also was sparking with this guy that I was working with, and he kind of already knew that too. So it was kind of like a mutual breakup. It was
Mm.
just a little bit of a difficult mutual breakup because I didn't know where else to go. And
Uh,
he knew that, and he was like, "You can take your time getting your stuff out, but like, I don't think that we should live together anymore." And I was like, "Okay, that makes sense, duh. Like, of course we're not gonna live together anymore. That's crazy." So I had to move back in with my family in like a 2-bedroom apartment over in like Stone Oak, which was nice. It was fine because I was still in high school at the time too.
mm.
Like I was just about to graduate, and yeah, then it just kind of tumbled from there. Like all of the boyfriends just started getting worse and worse and worse and worse and started treating me worse and worse and worse and worse. And like now, though, like I have a totally different perspective on like romance and intimacy, but
That's
that
our next
is
question.
okay, cool.
Perfect. Go.
No, yeah, you asked me the question.
Oh, I'm like perfect.
Yeah, literally, right?
I'm like, do you see major differences between your initial definition of love from your first experience to now?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yes.
definitely, for sure,
Me
five
too,
thousand
yes.
percent, yes.
Million.
A million. Okay, yeah,
For
you're
you,
right.
like 2 million, okay?
Yeah, honestly, God, yes, girl.
For me, I'll say a million, but for you, okay,
Like,
like let's do
you
two
can
million.
see now where I was coming from,
You're a
right?
psycho,
Like,
yeah.
look, I was a traumatized little girl that I literally only started relationships with guys that gave me the attention that I did not have.
I feel that.
I never had attention from my family. I never had attention from my friends, and I was starved for it. So whenever a guy showed me any kind of attraction, any kind of like interest, just generally, I would latch onto that like so
Period.
hard. I would be like, "Oh,
I'm glad
yes.
we left that
I
behind.
fucking love that attention."
Love that shit.
Yeah,
Do you think it was going into the same kind of thing where the articles that you were reading, like where,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely. Especially because I was traumatized through neglect and like abandonment issues. I
So it was like even more of a boost.
Exactly. Like
Gotcha.
I was just so deprived of that and my self-esteem was so low. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't love myself. Didn't know how to take care of myself. And then I tried. Like with these guys, I really did try. I did really like and love some of them, in all of their issues and all of their problems. I tried my best to help a lot of them out, but at the end of the day, like that wasn't like real love. It wasn't like true romance, true love. It was more of like, I love the attention that you give me, and I want to try and help you because you're helping me.
Right.
You're helping me with my confidence because you're giving me attention that I've been wanting, that I've been starved
It
of.
was very like transactional a little bit.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
And I hated that part. Like that was honestly like, damn, why did I let these guys ruin my vision of like romance and true love and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that? Because now I feel like I'm very jaded towards things like that, but I think it's also a good thing because now I have actual like standards of how I should be treated, of how I should be looked at, of how much attention that I deserve from somebody, and And now also physicality, like physical looks really matter to me now, because it's like if I'm not going to be physically attracted to you, like the intimacy factor of our relationship is going to be so fucking difficult, like.
Right.
And I didn't think that that was such a big thing for me all the way up until now. You know what I mean? Like even whenever we had first started becoming like friends, like I told you that, oh, I might just be asexual. Like I don't think that I really care about sex. Like I can have a relationship without really like caring about it. Nah, not the case anymore, baby. Like
I was like, she'll get over it.
yeah. Definitely did. But I do enjoy like an emotional like connection, like a chemistry between us, because it's like you can see, you can feel the like, I don't know, the attraction that we have between
Yeah.
each other, which I think is what makes the biggest difference between me and this guy that I'm currently talking to, and a couple of the other guys that I have talked to. It just hits different. It hits different when you like have,
Connect with them emotionally.
yeah, you know. But even then, like there was a guy that I just recently stopped fucking around with because he was getting too serious. Like he was getting a little bit too trauma dumpy on me. He was being too vulnerable towards me. And it's not that I don't want him to trust me like that. It's just that I know in my heart's heart that if he does that, he's going to fall in love with me. And I think that he already did. And that is why I was like, it was a one time thing with me and him,
Mm-hmm.
because I have been deprived of it. He has been deprived of it. And then we just like had this connection, like mentally, we had really great conversations, but I don't think that it should have stepped any further than that, because then he started catching feelings, I think.
Right.
And
You can tell too.
you know what I mean? And the only thing is that the guy that I'm currently messing around with is also around the same guy that like got attached to me. So I was just like, man, this is kind of like an awkward situation that I'm put in. But the guy that I'm currently looking at and like am intimate with doesn't care about it, which like it's amazing to me. I love that he is so mature
Secure with
in
himself.
exactly in that kind of way. And like I don't know. I've never really experienced that with a guy before, to be quite honest with you. Like, even all the other guys that I've been having situationships with, like, they either wanted to be around me all the time or they, like, didn't want to be around me at all. Like, they only wanted to fuck kind of deal. Like, they would do the what you doing at, like, 9 p.m. at night or, like, 10 p.m.
Going to
And
bed.
you know what I mean? Or, like, they would be like, hey, yo, what's up? And I'm like, okay, no, like, I'm good. Or then they would get like, you know, trauma dumpy, vulnerable, and like latch on to me, kind of like how I
Right.
was whenever I was
Younger.
younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that gave me the ick. Like it gave me the ick so
Do you feel like that
bad.
gave you some insight on yourself, like seeing other people do what you did?
Yeah,
And then what did you feel?
definitely. I felt icky. I felt like,
I felt
damn
that
bitch,
feeling before.
I was like
Yeah,
this.
like I will be with
So
somebody. I
cringy.
used to be with people that would reflect what I would be like in my
Yeah.
younger relationships, and I would be like,
Ooh.
no wonder.
You're like, wow, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Full circle moment for
It couldn't be
real.
me. Not anymore. Not anymore. Yeah, dude. So that's why I was just like, man, it's finally getting to that point where I feel like I'm a grown ass adult and like I'm only going to be messing around with or like being in these kinds of relationships with people who are adults. Like I can tell when somebody is not mature enough or like emotionally developed enough to handle their own emotions. And like I can kind of see that this current guy is not like spiritual in any sense. I don't think that he has really had those kinds of deeper thoughts. He's more of like a party guy and more of a happy-go-lucky kind of like positive. I don't know, just a comedic guy, and I like that though. Like this
Goofy.
is something that I have. This is somebody like a personality that I have never messed with before. This is somebody that like he gives me golden retriever vibes, and in like the best way possible, because it's like so happy, and like he's happy to see me, he's very attracted to me, I'm very attracted to him, and whenever we meet up, it's just kind of like always a good time. And I don't know, like I never want to, like, you know, overstep my boundaries or overstep in his boundaries, and thinking that something more is going to happen, especially since we just started this whole like situation. And I hate that sometimes I do just skip to that. You know what I mean? I skip to the, oh, well, we're in an intimate relationship, so what if we did end up becoming like in a real relationship?
Yeah.
And I have to stop myself there, because I'm like, no, girl, like
First of all,
this is just for fun right now. Like, I'm having fun. He is having fun. And I think that this is exactly what we came to do. Like, if something did like want to progress further, I would love to see where it goes. Like, I will always give people a chance. I will always give people benefit of the doubt, you know, before I shut them down. But at the same time, like, there's a big part of me that's just scared of being romantic with somebody, of being that intimate with somebody and vulnerable with someone, because I just don't think that these guys have the capability to handle my emotions and my trauma, and like all of the things that I have in my head and my spirituality, to like really match with theirs. So that's why I'm like, I feel like I need to pull back with this guy a little bit, because I don't know, he started doing some like semi-romantic things, but that might just be like, you know, the pillow talking, and like,
the raise.
you know what I mean? Because
I
guys
feel
do
that.
do tend to have that, like, you know, oh, like, I'm gonna, you know, cuddle with you now, and like, but that's the thing though, is that like he's the only guy that has ever been like that with me. Like, ever since I started having situationships, he's the only guy that will actually full on cuddle me, and like put his arm around me, and like hold my hand in public and shit like that. Like, you crazy to me.
That's
I
pretty, yeah, forward, honestly, I would
Yeah.
say. But I mean, it's up to you, like where the line is drawn and where
Is
it's
that
not
to you?
drawn. It's up to you.
But then what about you? How
Let's
about when
see.
your first romance started up until now, at this point? Like, what has changed for you?
A lot.
Yeah.
Because I've been in a pretty serious situation, or a relationship, lol. I'm all like, it's still a
Yeah.
situation. Relationship for a
I know.
while now. We're going on 3 years since the last time we got back together. So
Wow.
altogether, that's about 8 years we've known each other.
Mm-hmm. It's a
So
long time.
yes, it's definitely turned from having fun and being attracted to each other to like relationships are work, and like romance is part of that work. You know what I mean? Romance
Mm.
is actually the fun part of being in a relationship.
I think so
And
too.
so like
I love it.
the hard part is the relationship part, and that's the
Mm.
part where people get real with each other, and then
Mm-hmm.
you go through situations that either make or break your relationship, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to deal with those, not just like together but also independently. And
Ooh.
so I feel like that's what a lot of people like confuse about relationships, is that
Mm.
it's very much like a team effort, but it's also a lot of like yourself, and you also have to grow as an individual.
That's true.
And sometimes you'll be growing, and then the other person won't be growing as much, but they'll still be making an effort. So you might be making more
Okay.
of an effort in a certain situation, but they're also making an effort in that situation a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to recognize that they're, at least they're trying.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
might be more, what's it called, inept
Mm-hmm. Enough.
at spirituality, or like growing yourself mentally,
Mm-hmm.
whereas they might be more inept in making money and physicality and grounding themselves.
Ooh,
And
okay.
so
I
where
see.
they are at, and they probably could use something of yours in the
Mm-hmm.
sense of like being positive. For example, in my relationships case, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much of a positive thinker, whereas he's more of a realist. So I
Okay, I
kind of
see.
offer that to him whenever he needs it, whereas I'm more of aloof and very like happy go lucky.
Happy-go-lucky,
So he
yeah.
is able to ground me a little bit, and so we're
He's
able
more
to
down to
balance each
earth.
other.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that like you see what you're lacking, you just don't rely on that person to always have that part. Like, you also need to build up that part of you as well, so that they don't have to always carry you that way. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that in itself is romantic. You know what I mean? That in
Really.
itself, like bettering yourself for the other person and your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
is romantic, as well as making them feel wanted and listening to their emotions, listening to their day, how it went, and not recommending. Like, I heard this quote a long time that like has helped my relationship so much, and
Mm-hmm.
it's you don't, what is it again? Damn. You don't want to offer advice to
Mm-hmm.
your girlfriend. You just want to listen to your girlfriend.
Yes.
Don't try to come up with solutions,
Mm-hmm.
because then you're just like, they're just telling you about their day, and maybe through them talking, they'll be able to offer like some kind of like insight into themselves.
Mm.
Whereas if you're just like, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Or what if you
Ooh.
did this instead? And then you just offer all, and then now they have to like, it's just not what the situation was calling for.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit later on, you could be like, I was thinking about what you said, and it just popped into my mind that maybe you could do this or that. And I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to like tell you what to do or nothing. I'm just saying like, this is what I would do in this situation, instead
Ooh,
of like
okay.
being in the
Mm-hmm.
moment and letting, while they're
Yes,
venting
ma'am.
to you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Please, 5,000%, 1,000,000% actually. Don't fucking tell me what to do with my life. I'm just
Yeah.
here
Any type
because
of stage in your
I
relationship.
want to vent. Like, I just want somebody to listen to me. And it's not even like I'm mad at you or anything. Like, this is just what's going on with me. I want to keep you updated on, like, how I am, how I'm feeling.
Right.
Just as I also want to hear about your day. You know,
Right.
I also want to hear about all the good things, all the bad things, what inconvenienced you today. You know, like, did you
Exactly.
see a cute cat, you know, on your
I
way
did.
into school? You know what I mean? Like, I love it. Like, I like that kind of like communication because it's just like, okay, well, it's nothing serious. You know what I mean?
Yes, and it's fun, honestly, because you're just like hanging out with your with your boyfriend or girlfriend, your
Mm-hmm.
partner,
Exactly.
and just getting to know them and hearing about them. And
Yeah.
that's, I feel like, the difference between me now and me back then is that
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really interested in getting deeper with anybody other than
Mm.
just calling them my boyfriend or girlfriend.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what
I
I mean?
see.
So it was very much
I
like
see.
not very deep.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like, if they were to like get mad at me for something, I would be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's crazy. Well, I'm gonna go then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, very like dismissive energy from
Mm.
me.
Okay, I
Whereas
see.
now I feel like I'm paying this karmic energy back, because I feel like the shoe has flipped a little bit,
Oh,
because I'm
yeah.
very much of the patient one.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm okay with that at the moment.
Okay. At the moment.
Sometimes I'll be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go hang out by myself and meditate. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Don't bother me.
Yeah, literally.
Damn.
But that's about it for me when it comes to like the difference between then and now for myself.
Yeah. Is that you find yourself, you've changed a little bit more and that
Yeah,
you're.
definitely a maturity level, and also like a understanding of how, what relationships actually are. Cause
Okay.
like I feel like I just didn't really get it when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and it's like I feel like that's why um, I don't think kids should date at all, or like teenagers should date a little bit. You
Really?
know, I
You don't
really
think so?
don't. And that's like coming from a
Mm.
person who has like, I just don't think it's like, oh, I just noticed my sock was inside out. Don't do that. Sorry.
Did not need to tell
I'm sorry.
everybody. Nobody
I
would
didn't
have
want them to
noticed.
call me out in the comments. Uh,
Nobody would do that.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, I really don't think that teenagers should date, just because I don't feel
Really?
like they had the depth really necessary to understand certain situations, and
Mm.
like,
But don't you think that that would be a good learning experience then for them? Is to be around somebody else that who is not them and they have different perspectives
I
on
would
things?
say yes if the parents are involved, like to
Mm.
offer some guidance. But
Okay.
if like, I just don't feel, I mean, I'm not going to tell y'all what to do, you know what I mean? I just don't think if I had
Mm-hmm.
children and they were teenagers, I would not be letting them date unless I felt like they were emotionally in depth, and I would be able to tell that through
Mm.
like getting to know them, which obviously they're my child, so,
Yeah.
but that's not going to happen because I'm not going
When
to
do
have
you
no kids.
usually think that like the right time to date would be?
I would say like maybe like 18 and up. I would say maybe like if you're really mature for your age,
Mm-hmm.
16
Yeah.
at the very like youngest. because I was knowing people in middle school that were having children.
Yeah, I know. I know that
So
one.
I just like was confused that
Mm-hmm.
children were having children. My own parents had me when they were kids.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I just never wanted that,
That
you know what
part
I mean?
that part is a little odd for me.
But the world was a different place like when I was a child. So
It's getting worse though, honest to God.
yeah.
People are like
Teen
actually
moms and shit,
people are
yeah.
actually like actively seeking out relationships in middle school nowadays. Like people are, I don't know, and it's just like it's just getting worse. I don't know.
That's so funny.
I just think it's getting worse because like people don't think about the concept, not people, but kids. Kids aren't thinking about the consequences of their
Well, yeah.
actions and their relationships when
Yeah.
they're that young. And that's exactly why we
That's
have a
exactly why I say
booming
that.
boomer industry currently in the baby factories.
Mm-hmm.
So, but also nowadays like dating culture has changed so drastically. And
Right.
like I was listening to another podcast the other day that they were talking about how like dating is now in 2022 versus like back then
Back
in
then.
like 2000 1990s whatever, and or like however our parents did it. And so they would be like, oh, first base is like, oh, holding hands. Second base is like kissing each other or hugging each
Oh, the
other, and
bases,
like,
right?
you know what I mean. Third base is like, oh, you get a little French kiss in there, and then you hit a home run when you finally do the do. But nowadays, first base is raw sex. Whereas second
God
base,
damn.
second base is kissing them in public without the connotation
Oh,
of
so it kind of like
sex.
flipped.
Yeah, and then third base is being in like a relationship, holding hands and like hugging in public and stuff
And
like
then
that.
home run is
And
the
then a home run
relationship.
is an actual, yeah, boyfriend girlfriend
What do you
exclusive
think
to each
about
other.
that?
I think that's so true because it's currently
Facts.
like what I'm
That's
going
literally, it's
through.
literally, yeah, like what I
It's
do.
so odd.
I feel like that's such gay culture, honestly.
Is it? But it's
Yeah.
also straight culture now too,
Now, yeah.
to be quite
But that's just
honest.
because, gay or straight culture copy gay culture.
Okay, whatever. But I think also stems from just like people really understanding now like their own worth. People, especially after COVID had happened, people were like stuck to their own devices
Mm,
when they were just, stuck at home doing whatever the fuck. And like people I think are more aware now, a little more mentally aware of like how this their mind works and how other people's minds work.
yeah.
And that's exactly why the standards are so high now. In order to start a relationship with somebody, you have to understand that you're physically and then mentally compatible with each other.
Right.
Like
If you're
it's
mature, right.
exactly, because it's just easier to start a physical relationship first because it's just like I'm attracted to you, like, and what do I do when I'm attracted to someone? I want to fuck them. Like that's
Right.
just like instinct, human caveman instinct. Back when our ancestors were cavemen, what they would do is if they found a girl attractive, they would fuck them, they would have babies, and then they would start their relationship from then. So it's just kind of like we just kind of back all the way to the
You
past.
think it's more animalistic now?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
A little bit more primitive for
I
sure.
like it. No,
But
I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
same. Honestly, yeah.
Just get all the bullshit out the way and then we'll see what happens later.
Because if I'm not physically compatible with you, then I don't know how this relationship is going to work. But if I already put in all of this mental investment into you and us, into this relationship, like that's going to hurt me even more so when we
Mm,
first have sex and it's not fucking good. Or like,
true.
you know what I mean? Or like, you let yourself go a little bit. I'm not attracted to you anymore, but then I will still be mentally attracted to you, like in a relationship. That's okay. Like, I think that it is nicer nowadays that we start with the physical attraction and then we can build up from there if we have that chemistry.
I know a lot of people do not like hookup culture, but I still feel like
I at
people
first
who
did not.
say that actually and partake in hookup culture anyways.
Yeah,
So
I haven't. I didn't like hookup culture at first either. I was all like, oh, I can't be a dirty hoe. I'm not a dirty hoe, you
yeah, I'm
know.
not the slut shaming,
I no, I never slut shamed, but I was just
but you're like,
like,
I can't be a dirty hoe.
I can't be a dirty hoe. Like,
I gotta be a clean
I
hoe.
would never would. Yeah, I would never slut shame anybody because they would be promiscuous or whatever. I don't give a
Right.
shit. But at the same time, I don't want to be putting myself out there like
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, for people to take advantage of me. That's the only dirty hoe thing that I thought of whenever I think dirty hoe is this is just somebody who knows that they're getting taken advantage of and allows other people to do it to them.
Mm.
That's a dirty hoe. Like that poor girl, like she is actively getting used and she knows it, but like maybe she likes it. If she likes it, then cool. You know,
Then she's
that's
not a
totally
dirty
fine.
hoe.
Then no, yeah, because that's not really dirty hoe mentality. But dirty hoe mentality is all like, oh, well, I'm gonna hook up with this guy because he's got a girlfriend, and like,
Oh, that is
you
a
know,
dirty
I'm gonna
hoe.
steal your man kind of shit, or
Yeah,
like,
that's a dirty hoe.
you know what I mean,
Don't
like
be doing no bitches dirty.
doing some manipulative shit. You know, that's dirty hoe shit.
I
So.
hate that. You're right.
I ain't a dirty hoe. Sorry. I will not manipulate you just to get the pee, girl.
Period.
If you like me, you like me.
I do know some bitches, or I did know some bitches that were like that though.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Ugh. Let's see. What is your romantic life now? I guess we kind of answered that, right?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
For sure.
Do you want to elaborate?
I guess just I don't really participate in like online dating or like apps or anything like that because I think that I like the person to person interaction a little bit more, and especially if it's like the physical thing,
Right.
like I can tell more with a face to face interaction with someone whether they're going to be physically and mentally compatible with me than if I were to see them on a screen and talk to them through text. Like I used to do that a lot through like games and everything. I would meet new people, I would make friends online, and like, you know, we would be messaging each other back and forth and it would be really good chemistry already. But it was kind of like my first romance. It was off. It was bad because I wasn't physically attracted to him, and then I ended up finding out that I'm not mentally attracted to him either because all of that stuff that he said on the screen was just all fake. Like all the stuff that he was saying to me was just like sweet nothings because at the end of the day he's not going to back up his word and be like a gentleman towards me, you
Right.
know? And so now that I'm older, I like realize that like okay, online stuff, social media and all that stuff, it's cool, but it's not what the basis of my relationship is going to be off of. And that works for some people. I totally get that. I like that, you know, people can tell other people's demeanor through the screen, but most of the time you can't. Like a lot of the time people, they feel protected by the screen, so they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want, say whatever they want. And I absolutely hate that. I hate liars. I hate thieves. I hate motherfuckers, dirty ass hoes trying to tell me that they don't have a girlfriend, but they do, or they're not talking to anybody else, but they are. At the end of the day, if I look into your eyes and you tell me that stuff and I can see in your body language and the way that you talk to me and the way that you treat me that that is true, then I will believe you. And that's exactly why I don't deal with apps and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't like apps. Honestly, me neither.
Like it is
It's
so
boring.
easy.
It's so boring.
It's so easy to find somebody on there.
And it's so brain numbing, I feel, to me at least. Like,
Exactly.
I'd just be swiping and then, like,
You
back
know?
then, not now, but.
I did download Tinder once. I got weak after after my late boyfriend had passed away, and this was before I had started talking to that guy at our old restaurant, and I was just like swiping, but every time that I would actually like be attracted to somebody and I would swipe, it would always be a match. Like, but there were more mismatches because I did not like them than matches,
Right.
because I only liked like 5 out of the like 300 guys that I
Right.
saw. You know what I mean? Like that's so bad. That's so bad to say, but it's also just like I might have said yes to a lot of those guys just because it, like if I met them in real life.
Right.
You know what I mean? But just because I see them on a screen, I'm just like split second judging them. And I think that's also an issue in our current society in modern day culture of like hooking up is that people are so quick to fucking judge you, and just through your looks alone. So it's like pretty
I
privilege is
agree.
really a really big thing with our culture nowadays.
I agree.
But also like I don't know, like people don't know me and they will automatically just judge me to think that either I'm a hoe or I'm not a girl's girl, or like that they could just treat me however the fuck they want and they don't think that I'll say anything about it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because even older people though, they'll do that to me. Like older people will come up to me and then they'll treat me however they want. They'll like try to grab me, toss me around and shit like that, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Like I'm not here for this right now. Like you're being a little bit
That's
ridiculous
crazy.
and handsy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and this is not what I wanted from you. So back the fuck off,
Yes.
kindly.
I honestly feel like when you stop using those apps though, like you kind of like invite more opportunity to like go, especially when you're going out and you're doing stuff like
Exactly.
doing your passions and going out there and just
Yeah.
getting in touch with communities. Like
Yeah.
there's people out there that will try talking to you and like
Yeah.
they might be interested in you.
Exactly.
So
So,
if you stop going on the app and start going, which this is hard,
uh-huh.
especially with the COVID stuff,
Oh, yeah.
but
You're right. You're right.
you going out and putting yourself out there, you might meet somebody of interest to you a little bit faster
So fast.
than compared to online.
And it also stems from like you are finally doing something that interests you. You're surrounding yourself in an environment that you want to be in, you know, like you could take yourself out for a nice drink, go to a nice bar, dress yourself up, take yourself out on a little date, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't hurt to go out to a restaurant and eat alone. Like I know that there are a lot of people out there that are like super self-conscious about that. But at the end of the day, if you aren't comfortable with yourself at even just eating out in public, then how are you going to be comfortable with somebody else? You know what I mean? Like I sincerely don't understand that anymore. I used to, even when I was like low self-esteem, not very confident in myself, I
Mm-hmm.
would still take myself out on dates. I would still take myself out to a really nice restaurant, or like just to eat something good, or like drink something awesome, you know, like I would go to 1919 by myself and I would just, you know, be sipping an old fashioned for the night, and
Mm-hmm.
it felt fucking good. Like, and I would meet new people, I would have people hit on me, or like, you know, it made me feel validated, not just from the external people but also with myself, because I'm able to sit comfortably with myself with just a drink in my
Ooh,
hand and absolutely like care for myself and love myself in that way.
yes. I was gonna say like
Hmm.
it's important not only to like have romance with like your partner, but also romanticize your life
Yes.
and
Oh,
like I feel like that's what you're kind of touching base on a little bit with what you're
so
saying is
important.
like to romanticize like yourself and living your life and wanting to provide yourself the best life. And
Hmm.
romance is not just like, okay, I'm talking to this dude or I'm talking to this girl, so let me or this person, and so let me like clean my room and let me make sure everything is done and my car is clean, and then let me
Yeah.
work out more so that
Yeah.
you know, but also like romanticizing your own life, like let
Oh
me
yeah.
work out for myself, let me cook this really good meal for myself and like
Hmm.
really enjoy taking care of myself because I'm living
Yes.
this life. And that's
Exactly.
actually what I wanted to touch base on a little bit, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where to throw that in, honestly. But
Oh, awesome. Well,
being
cool.
romantic with yourself is what I'm all about, especially as a Leo. Like Leo energy is all being like, you know, in love with life and living your life. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
I feel like that's very fire sign energy too.
Yes.
Because I like literally, Merlin had come home the other day from after work. He was dressed up, and I was all like, "Oh, did you just come back from work?" He's like, "Yeah, well, I was trying to take myself out for a little drink. You know, I wanted to go to the Edison experiment." I was all like, "Nice." I didn't
Yes.
know that he also just would go to bars by himself. I always thought
Mm-hmm.
that he required another person to be there with him. So
No,
I absolutely love that. I
he'll
admire
be
it.
like, hey, I'm gonna go grab a drink real quick. I'm like, go ahead, baby, go ahead.
Beautiful.
Like, I'm not,
Awesome.
like, we're not like that to where we have to be with each other all the time. And I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
that's
thank
definitely
God.
something that we've grown into
I
without even
love that.
trying. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like that's something that I really am attracted to him on is that we're able to just be our own people.
I love that.
You know
I
what I'm saying?
fucking love
Which I
that.
feel like all my other relationships were not that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the only reason that we've been together so long is because we were
Mm.
able to maintain our personalities and maintain
Mhm.
what we do for ourselves,
Mhm.
and just romanticizing our personal lives and being able to be
Exactly.
okay with ourselves, and then come together and enjoy ourselves,
Yeah.
together.
I love that. And
Yeah.
like I also had that experience where guys just like will fucking cling to you for like whatever reason. They just want to be around you all the time,
Yeah.
or they'll get like super jealous about other people and whatever. And that's why I kind of like this guy. Like at first he did give me the vibe that like, oh, he wants me to text him all day every day. But now after this weekend I'm like, it's cool. Like we're chilling. This is what I wanted. I thought it was kind of weird that he wasn't texting me as much, but I kind of like it. Like I kind of don't like texting somebody every single fucking day, especially if
Yeah.
I do see you every day like already, then it's going to be like why
Why are we
why do
doing
you want to
this?
talk to me every
Yeah.
day? Like I mean, it makes me feel good. You know what I mean? It makes me feel like, oh, they want to talk to me every
It
day.
will
That's
get
so cute.
annoying after a while. I'm gonna let you know
Exactly.
that.
I don't want it to get to that point yet though. That like oh he'll get tired of my ass like texting him and sending him memes and whatever. But at the end of the day, like, you know, whatever happens happens. I'm not like betting on a relationship with him, but I'm also
Yeah.
not betting on this situation ship like carrying out for the longest of times either. Like the more expectations that I put on a romantic relationship, the more either disappointed or the more I will expect later on down the line. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I don't want either of that because that's just what I did with my past relationships. And
It didn't work out.
oh, hell no.
Hell
I
no.
always ended up disappointed and crying and like crying in the club, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You're right.
and on a Tuesday too.
Not a Tuesday.
Club never going up on a Tuesday.
The next question is, what gets you to realize you like someone romantically versus infatuation?
Ooh.
Yeah.
You wanna
Oh,
share your experience maybe with well, what
I
made
feel like
you
we did touch
realize?
on this a bit because of the whole like it's reverse bases now.
Yeah,
So it always
that's
starts
true.
with infatuation, I feel.
Yes,
And I did date
definitely.
this one girl and I was all like, are we like in love or something? And she was like, I think we're in lust. And I was like, that
Oh,
makes sense.
that makes
And
sense.
so it was kind of hard to tell,
At least she
like,
was real with you.
she was real. I loved her. God bless her.
Yeah.
And she, when she said that, it kind of like, I was like, wow, I like that, like, because it was very much an infatuation. And after we kind of like were seeing each other for a minute, it started to turn romantic. But then I
Okay.
realized that I was,
It wasn't.
yeah, I wasn't really interested in it. I was more interested in pursuing another relationship with Merlin.
Okay,
So,
okay, I see.
and we did that, and I feel like you're always going to realize that, like, you can try to make it romantic,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like you're right. Infatuation does come first, like, always.
Always. I mean, and
I mean,
that's
unless you're like
okay.
friends first, but like,
That's true. It's hard though, I
yeah,
feel. It's hard to be just friends, especially if you are physically attracted to somebody.
right.
It's just, I don't know,
I
it's
feel
just
like some dudes have
difficult.
tried you that are friends, though.
Oh, so
Like,
many. So many. So many guys just want to be friends with me just because they want to fuck me.
eventually, yeah, want
Or
to
like
be
want to be in a
romantic with,
relationship, yeah.
right.
And that's exactly where I think that
That's
this
where the, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, yeah, that's where the other guy was coming
Uh
from
huh.
for sure because he was the one that suggested that we all go to First Friday together this weekend.
Oh,
And
I see.
yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Oh, I was already going to be inviting the girls to come out and like, you know, do the First Friday thing." And he was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And I like I don't know, it just really like stuck with me that it stuck with him. You know, like I had told him about this event like one time when we were at the bar together, and it really stuck with him because he was like, this is a chance. This is an opportunity for me to get closer to her. Little did he know that I
Some might say
invited.
that's romantic.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right.
It is. It is. And in reality, like if it were the guy that I'm currently attracted to did that, I would be even more attracted to him. If
So,
he put that much effort into thinking about me like that, like, oh, I remember you said that your roommates do this event. I would love to go with you. Do you want to go with me? I would absolutely love that. If he had mentioned, if the guy that I'm talking to right now mentioned that to me, I would be like, he remembered something that I
but
said.
when the other guy remembers it, then
But
it's
because I'm not attracted to him in that way,
right.
it's a little awkward, a
Okay.
little icky, a little weird, just
Okay, okay.
because.
We're gonna have to like unpack that a little bit.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. Please ask me questions.
Okay, so it's only romantic when you're attracted to the person. If you're not if you're not attracted to him, then it's infatuation and it's on the other person's part. But what if the other person was all like, "I'm trying to be romantic," but you didn't perceive it as being You see where
So,
I'm going?
so the thing
It's
is,
very convoluted a little bit.
no, it's not,
Okay, tell me.
because romance is a two-way street. Like,
Okay,
it's
it
a
takes two to
two.
tango.
Exactly. Romance is that. Like, infatuation, though, it could be either side. You know, like, it's what is that called? An unreciprocated romance. I
So I'm
forgot
like,
what
I
the
know what
fuck.
you're saying.
Yeah, you know, it's not reciprocated. Like, he
Right.
can be infatuated with me, but just because he has a romantic idea in his head doesn't mean that it's romantic out in public. Like,
Or that he's putting this perception onto you that you have to uphold that perception.
exactly.
Okay, heard.
This is
I see
exactly
what you're
why
saying.
I don't hold this guy to any expectations, because at the end of the day,
Which
I'm either
guy?
going, either
Sorry.
of them,
Either.
honestly,
All
any
guys. All
guy that
guys. All
I
people.
will, exactly, any guy, any person, I don't expect anything from them anymore, because I know that at the end of the day I might get disappointed. I'd rather be surprised and like pleasantly surprised and be like, oh my gosh, you remembered what I said, or like, oh my gosh, like, you actually kind of like me, huh?
But isn't that what that guy did?
Yes, but
But like,
because
okay.
I don't have that like romantic perception of him, because I'm not infatuated with him,
Okay.
because I'm not in lust with him, I'm not in love or in like with him, because I only see him as a friend, it is not romantic. It
On
is
your part.
romantic in his head, but that's because he's infatuated with me.
Gotcha.
Infatuation can be a two-way street as well, but because he's infatuated with me and I'm not with him, it's not romantic. Like,
Okay.
yeah, okay, we were intimate together once. At some point it was romantic between him and I, but just because we were intimate that one time doesn't mean it's always going to be romantic.
Right.
Because now my perception of him is different than when we had first initially started that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a devil advocate question.
Please.
Did you tell him that?
Yes,
And what did he say?
that I did not want to be serious with him. I told him I'm not looking for anything serious. I told him what my expectations were of this relationship, and he responded saying, "Okay, I'm in the same boat as you. See you see you whenever I see you," basically.
Damn, you said hit it and quit it.
I
You cold blooded girl.
didn't think that it was like that. I didn't think it was cold-blooded,
It's
but
because you're
it's
in your biases.
it's because I have standards.
Okay,
I don't
period.
have biases. It's because I have standards.
Tell me.
As soon
Tell
as
him.
he told me, he was vulnerable with me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with anybody being vulnerable with me. I'm not going to use it against you. But don't be upset at me just because I have a certain standard now than I did before. And because of this vulnerability that he shared with me, I don't think that I could pursue anything romantic with him. Like, that was the one standard, like the one fucking standard that I could not compromise on.
Right.
Okay, there's like two or three that I cannot compromise on, but this one was like the ultimate one that I
Which
could not.
was
He used to do a
oh,
really hard drug,
heard.
and that's exactly the.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go that deep.
No, it's okay. And it's not that deep, honestly, because I mean, like, this is just his past, and it's not me. Like, it's not me because I'm choosing for it to not be me. And that's why I was hoping that he would understand and he would respect that, because he knew my trauma. He understood where I was coming from with that trauma, but he didn't disclose it to me until after we did the nasty.
Hmm.
And that's kind of fucked up on his part too,
I
because
see
he could
now.
have told me that when we were
Okay.
having our romantic relations, you know what I mean? Like going
Right.
out to having drinks with each other. And then for him to withhold that information from me because he knew my past,
Ugh.
you know what I
Okay, I
mean?
see what you're saying now,
It
girl.
gave me a totally different perspective on him and like his intentions towards me and just him as a person in
I forgot
general.
about that, honestly. That was
Yeah.
crazy. That
It
was crazy.
was
And I
crazy.
think that's a good standard to hold,
Thank you.
especially with your background.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's why I was like, I'm not willing to compromise on this one thing. Therefore, I cannot see him in a romantic light anymore. And that is exactly why I try to cut it off immediately after that night. I was like, I don't think that we're on the same page because I saw him look at me with that like gleam in his eyes of like, I really like her. And it's like, okay, you might really like me, but I don't really like you anymore. Like I'm sorry. That's just the one thing that I cannot fucking handle though. Like this is just my trauma being brought back up and I don't want that. Like what I want
Period.
is the
Growth.
exactly. The one thing that I want though is this guy that I'm currently talking to.
Right.
This is the kind of energy that I've been looking for and he is giving me the energy that I want to give out to the world. Like
Period.
he's very positive. He doesn't have that kind of trauma like ever, I don't think. And I've never been with somebody. I've never been with a straight man that has never had a like really fucked up trauma like childhood or like you know what I mean?
Right.
Something really awful to share with me. And I mean like a part of me is like, okay, well this guy does have trauma and he just kind of pushes it down and it's like machismo kind of like energy that he gives
Right.
me. But at the same time, if he's able to like be vulnerable with me eventually, if he will put that mask down eventually with me, then that's how I know it's going to be a romantic relationship, not just an
Gotcha.
intimate one,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it'll be romantic because I'm attracted to him and because I also like his personality. Like, I like the person that he is, and, like, you know, might change later on down the line. Who knows
Who
what's going
knows?
to happen?
Right.
But at the
But
same
that's the fun
time,
part.
exactly. I'm just
Okay,
having fun right
girl.
now. So period.
Let's see. Period.
Yeah.
We have time for one more question.
Cool.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna let you pick.
Okay.
Could you find love for yourself through loving someone else? Or it's more of like a statement that you had. Green flags, beige flags, red flags for romantic relationships,
Ooh.
standards for relationships. I feel like we're talking about standards, so we might as
Yeah.
well jump into that.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, bet.
Okay, what are some green flags for relationships with you?
Okay, for me, I'm a very like, what's the word? You have to be nice to me,
Okay.
and you have to give me a lot of compliments.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a Leo in you.
Yeah, that's the Leo. Like, there's okay, but let me get like a little bit serious with this. That's like
Okay.
a funny thing,
No,
like
it's
just to start off
okay.
with. You know what I
It can
mean?
be
Like,
lighthearted. That's
yeah,
fine.
but some serious ones would be like emotional depth. You know what I
Ooh,
mean? Being able to have like these deep conversations about
yes.
philosophy or like romance or your past,
Spirituality.
present, future
Ooh,
goals, having a good job,
I like that
getting good
one.
money, like,
Yes.
or if you don't have like a good job, eventually working up to get a good job or like working
Yeah.
on something,
Always, always
working.
looking for, yeah,
Yes.
better. I
Being
like that.
kind,
Ooh,
which
okay.
I've noticed that like people that I've
Same.
dated in the gay community, a lot of them will be a little bit catty. And then I
Ooh.
really am not attracted to cattiness. Like I
Mm-mm.
just find it rude. I find making fun of other people like not
Mm.
cute.
What about like sassy though?
Sassy is different because you're just like snapping back at me for being sassy
Oh,
also
okay.
because I'm a sassy person, but I'm
You
not a
are.
rude, mean person. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like there's a
Mm.
difference between a little sassy and then being like whatever, bitch.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
you
like giving you the
right.
cold shoulder or
You
something. Like I
right.
hate that shit.
Yeah.
Um, what's another standard of mine?
Hmm.
I would like somebody spiritual, but it's not necessary. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I've dated somebody spiritual, or I was in a situationship with somebody spiritual,
Mm.
and they would just kind of like correct me a little bit on certain way of
Ooh.
my life.
Interesting.
When honestly, it was kind of like not asked for. It was a
Mm-hmm.
little bit unsolicited advice, And I'm very big on like, may I offer a critique? You know what I mean? I'm
Ooh.
very much, do you have space for me to talk about this? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm very much big into that.
Okay.
So when people don't have that same respect for me, then I kind of like find that a little
Mm-hmm.
bit jarring,
Mm-hmm.
and all it gives me, in your words, ick. Let's see what else. I think that's about it for me. Like,
What
it
are
doesn't
like
take much.
some green flags though that would really sweeten the deal if somebody had
Like,
like cooking for you or like being a really good cook? Like,
I would say like,
what are some things that like you it may not be in your relationship currently, but it would just sweeten the fucking deal
okay,
if
so the first thing that comes to mind is having a kick-ass space for
yes.
themselves. Like,
Okay.
let me come
Period.
over. Let me freshen
Yes.
up in your
Yes.
nice ass bathroom, bitch.
Yes. You
Like,
know what I'm
I'll make
saying.
dinner and shit. I don't care. Like,
I'm
I'm
all
not
we
that good of
got
a
that.
cook. I'm not that
I
good of a
got
cook,
that
but I'll make dinner.
shit. Come over, baby. Come take a
But
shower
yeah,
with
I feel
me.
like having a really nice space, yes, period,
You
is
know?
like, that would really like just make me feel like, oh shit,
Ooh.
like this person. Ooh, ooh.
Get kind of fancy up in
Shit,
here.
I didn't
Is
know.
like, are cars like a big thing for you?
Not really. Like, I don't
No.
really, because my car is like a mom car that I use for hauling around my art shit
But
for
would it sweeten the
events.
deal if they had a
Mm,
nice
okay, if they had
car?
a 1959 Cadillac convertible, like, I wouldn't say
Ooh.
no.
Ooh, with a convertible though?
But
Like
this is
a,
all like
ooh,
physical
that's...
stuff. I feel so bad.
No, why?
I don't
This is
know.
just like
This is
hypothetical
fun, right?
though.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Also,
We're
like,
allowed to
if they
have
were hot as
fun.
fuck.
Yes,
Okay.
girl. Like what would be your like ideal type though? Like muscular?
I am attracted to a
Big.
lot of different people, I've noticed.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
I
I've
would,
noticed.
yeah, it's, you know, I'm attracted to big people. I'm attracted to skinny people,
Mm-hmm.
lengthy people, buff people, semi buff people,
Do you think it's
twonks,
more of
otters, bears,
no, all of them,
lions.
everybody, yeah,
Oh
pugs, you
my.
know what I'm saying?
I don't know about pugs.
Do you think that wait, what the fuck was my question?
I don't know, but that was
Oops.
funny. Oops. You said pug, and
um
I was like,
yeah, no, no, no.
uh,
um I do you think that like their like their charisma is like a really big turn on for
yes.
you? Like how you're attracted to people?
Yes, I feel like that goes into like them being
Okay.
nice to me and them like complimenting me and like in a
Yes.
way that's like, oh,
You know
don't
what I
talk to me
mean?
like that.
Honestly, that's a
I'm
beige
like that
flag for me
silly.
though.
What's beige mean?
Beige meaning like it's not necessarily a green flag, but it's not necessarily like a red flag. It could
Mm,
go either way depending on how they use it.
I love a good game, honestly. I
I
love
I
game.
think that charisma, if they have charisma, it could be either way because red flag meaning they use that charisma to like get what they want. You know what I mean? They could use that to manipulate
That's what I do.
people.
Yep.
He said, "Oh, that's exactly
I
me."
said I gotta get my
Red
tips,
flag, bitch.
okay?
That's why. I'm just
I
kidding.
gotta get my tips, okay?
Hey, look, service industry is different though.
Okay.
But
Sales industry too,
it's a
like,
green flag though because charisma, like, it makes me feel special. It makes
right.
me feel like that fucking girl. Like, oh man, like this guy that I'm currently talking to, he's got charisma out the ass, bitch. And like,
He's a water sign, you said?
he tells me, yeah, Virgo. He tells me
Oh, he's a
that,
earth sign.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He tells me that he is insecure a little bit. But
Lying ass bitch.
you know what I mean? I'm all like, but you're so fucking handsome and like,
He ain't insecure.
but no, he'll tell me like
What's
what
he
he's
insecure
insecure
about?
about, you
What?
know, like his skin. It's not actually super smooth. It's not like super, like he has
Nobody's skin.
psoriasis, you know what
Oh,
I mean?
really?
That kind of shit. Yeah,
Damn,
yeah.
psoriasis is
Like,
pretty bad.
yeah, exactly. But he's just so fucking handsome
I have
and like,
psoriasis too. Who
and
doesn't?
he's buff and like, I don't know, he takes care of himself. He
That's
literally,
another like
a
green
green
flag is
flag is
taking
good
care of yourself.
hygiene,
Yeah,
right?
hygienic. Like,
Look, okay. The weirdest thing about me is that not weird.
I was about to
But
say, don't say it.
I think it's a no, no, no.
I'm
Okay,
like, what are you saying?
shut up, shut up. Let me talk. I think that this is very normal for women, especially
Uh-huh.
women, because there's so many guys that have bad BO.
Yes,
I love a good smelling man.
me too.
And a
Every day.
man who like tastefully puts cologne on, not drowns themselves in it.
Ooh.
Like that shit goes far beyond, you know what I mean? And this guy that I'm talking to, his
Mm-hmm.
mom owns a perfume cologne store.
Oh,
So that's what I was like, you
that's probably
smell
why.
good
Oh,
though. And but
thanks.
he was just like, oh, if we're gonna be out all night, like I would really like to take a shower at your place. Like, so polite, so nice, like that ultimate attraction to me. Like,
That does sound
I
nice.
even told him I'm like 1,000 times
I've
more attracted to
I've
you
had
now.
moments in my like meetups with people where they were like working out and they didn't take a shower.
That's
It
so
was so
gross.
gross. And then
That is so
I had to be
gross.
like, I think I'm good, homie. Like, I think I'm good. Like,
Nah, brah, get up. Get the fuck
yeah,
out
and
of
it was
here.
like so awkward to even deal with. I was be like, oh, I actually have a girlfriend. That's crazy. Like, and I would lie.
Oh,
I would lie.
really? To
Yeah.
get yourself out of that
Yeah, I
situation,
was like, actually, I
huh?
feel real bad. I don't think I could do this. But actually, they just stank.
Wow, damn. I would have been honest with them, honestly. I'm very honest. I'm a little too honest for
Mm-mm.
sure.
See, honesty is not.
I would tell my late
Honesty isn't
boyfriend
always the
when he
best.
would stink.
I mean, you should.
Yeah, and he did stink a lot, like most of the time.
Ew.
So I would, but he would be
You're
like
doing
on it though. You know what I mean? He would
mm,
be on it. If I told him, then he would just go take a
like
shower
go
and
fucking.
yeah, he'd freshen himself up. That was
I
nice.
know that's something I try to tell my brothers too. When I smell them, I'm like, y'all need to go take a
You
shower,
know?
like, cause y'all stinkies.
But for him to like take the initiative on that, fucking so attractive. Like he even had a care package for himself. He brought his toothbrush, his toothpaste,
It's an
his
overnight
deodorant out,
bag.
literally. And I was like, perfect. Totally fine with me. I don't mind at
Love
all.
that.
Like I think that I am in love with you now. No, I'm just
So that's
kidding.
all it takes.
That's all it takes is just to be a fucking hygienic
Hygienic.
man. That's
There
crazy,
was this
right?
dude who would come over to my place after work,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be like, "Do you want to take a shower before you like lay down?"
Oh, I hate that.
And we wouldn't do anything. We would just like hang out and like
Yeah.
cuddle, which is
Oh,
super weird.
yeah,
Now that
that
I say it
is
out loud.
weird.
But I would be like, "Do you want to go take a shower?" And he'd be like,
Take a
I'm
shower.
kind of weird about like using other people's showers." And I'm like, "That's crazy."
I'm kind of weird about people not taking showers.
Yeah. And then one day he asked if he could come over, and I was like, "No, I'm busy."
Yeah.
Because like I was just so tired of him laying in my bed without taking a shower. It was so
Ew.
gross.
You're like, I have to wash my sheets, my pillowcase, everything now,
Literally,
huh?
like your oils are all over my bed now.
Exactly, girl. But that's also one of the things that he does is like he tells me I'm sorry for sweating all over your bed, and I'm all like, well, you're putting in
Nice.
the work to make my bed, girl, so it's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm all like it's a championship. You know what I mean?
Period.
Like it's
It's a
okay.
marathon.
I can always wash my sheets. Don't worry about it. Come here.
I have a washing machine
Now
built
come
in
on.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, come on now.
Thank God I don't have to go
I
to the
know.
coin launderer now, bitch.
God is good.
Green flag though, I think would also be not just hygiene. Also the charisma is a beige flag.
Okay.
But
I think that's a green
chivalry?
flag. Okay. What is chivalry to you though?
Chivalry to me is just being compassionate for other people when you don't have to be.
So like empathetic more?
Kind of, yeah. So like he'll hold the door open and he like not just the door though, my car door, like the door to if I pull the door open, he'll leave it open and he'll be like,
Is he
nah,
gonna do that though
you
for the
kind
rest
of
of your
did.
life? Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
would
Like,
love that. I might fall in love if he
if he
does.
does
The
that for another
heck?
3 months, who knows?
You know what I mean? What the
You don't
heck?
think that would ever stop at one point?
Um,
Like chivalry in your definition?
there's some days that it like doesn't click with them and that's okay, but I've had multiple guys be very chivalrous towards me and that's one of the like main attractions that I have towards a guy is if they are like, no, let me pay, or like he'll literally stop
Ooh.
me from paying,
Ooh.
or he'll order first and then he'll be like, hey, what do you want, like let me get it for you.
Oh.
I love that. Like, wow, because I just am so used to like wanting to split the check or like us being cool with splitting the check because we're in the
No.
service industry or something,
Mm-mm.
but he will
I'm
pay
just
for
kidding.
me. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't want him to think that I'm taking advantage of
I would
him.
never.
But I'm not. You know what I mean? Like I literally bought him a drink and a couple of shots the other day because I was like, well, thank you for buying me drinks the other night. And he's like, oh, "You're treating me?" And I was like, "Yes, of
I actually really
course."
do like that. Like honestly, I like when people like take care of me or
You know
like
what I
treat
mean?
me.
And unexpectedly too, you
Right.
know, because I had been like door dashing for a while to be able to go to First Friday and spend a little bit of money on drinks, maybe like some art or something.
Right.
And I didn't really have to pay much at all. Like
Period.
we went to the bar that my friend manages, and he was totally chilling and gave me free shots and
Oh yeah, I love
everything.
that
And
place.
yeah, I fucking love it too. But that's why I was just like, wow, this guy's really trying to take care of me or something. Like I kind of
Shit, keep that
like
one in
it.
on your roster, girl. Okay, keep that one on the
I'm
roster.
all. I don't think I need anybody else on my roster right now. If he's beating me
Period.
lots and pasta.
Okay.
Okay, Callie.
I love that
But
bitch.
you know what I mean? Another green flag that I can see in him is that he he'll give me shit. Like I love a guy that can banter, you know, like
Right.
is witty. He'll like he's very
Sassy, but
yeah,
in a
good at
man way.
comedic kind of things. I don't think that he understands my humor quite yet. I don't know if he understands that I'm not like as sensitive as a lot of other women are. It might just be because I grew up with older brothers and because I currently live with two like big fucking dudes
Sassy bitches.
literally, so I know how to fend for myself. But also I just think that it's so funny that he treats me kind of like a little lamb, you know what I mean? I just think
I
that
love
it's
that.
so funny that he thinks that I'm like sensitive enough to be offended by what he's saying to me, and I'm like, I'm literally not
I'm
offended.
like, girl, you should see the way we talk, like at home.
Couldn't literally call them big bitches and
Yeah,
shit, you know, like they call me a big bitch. I'm like, all
yeah.
right, it's cool.
It's fun.
You know what I mean?
It's all in good fun.
I
Okay.
like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the comedic banter. Like it's okay if you call me dude, if it's okay if I call you bro.
Yeah.
Like I do that with my boyfriend all the time, and I've had situationships that are like, why the fuck do you call me dude? Why you call me bro? Like that's so fucking weird. Aren't we like intimate together? And I'm like, yeah, but also isn't this also like casual or like, you know, I don't know, like am I getting something wrong here?
Are
Like
you
it's
confused?
also just a word. I don't know. Like I could also call you babe, but we're not like that. Like you don't even want to call me your girlfriend. What the fuck? Of course I'm
Yeah.
gonna call you bro. What the fuck? Sup, dude? Like how
Yeah,
you doing,
bitch.
bro? Yeah,
I remember.
bitch.
Yeah.
Guys hate that word. Straight guys
Sorry,
especially
bitch.
hate that word. Yeah. It's
I
so
know. I
bad.
love it.
I love it. I love using it against them.
They're all like, "Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know I would get offended by that word." I'm like, "Yep,
You know.
yeah."
I have just a couple of other green flags,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I love the sharing of the playlists, the
Oh yes.
music and
Oh, that's
everything.
also a really big, like
Putting me on,
pointer. Yeah,
you
like
know, putting me
good
onto music
music.
I've never heard before, or
That's
you
something
like
I
the
love
same
about
music that
Maryland.
I
I
do,
love it.
or you know you're down to explore a little bit more. That's a very big green flag to me. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to travel, you have the drive, you want to do like similar things like me, you know, like you're down for an adventure but you're also down to stay at home. Like you have an extroverted side but you can also be an introvert whenever you want. Like
Right.
I love that. Like a
That's
dynamic
very.
person.
Yes, I was about to say a very in-depth person.
Yes, yeah,
So that sounds nice.
I like
Yeah, those
that.
are all
Yeah,
good points. I like the traveling. I like the
yes,
music taste. It totally. I didn't even think about that, but that is such a big point. Like if you have terrible taste in
exactly.
music, I don't think we're gonna
I'm
vibe.
so
I
sorry.
don't think we're
Like,
gonna vibe.
ooh. But he's been putting me onto some like awesome new music and I'm
Really?
like, yeah. And I'm like, man, shit. Fuck.
Can't say nothing.
Might like this guy a little bit. Fuck. Just
Oops.
because he's showing me the right playlist, I'm like, fuck you, dude.
I'm dead. That's a playlist.
Yeah,
Not
he
because of the
rizzed me up with
playlist.
a playlist. Fuck.
What are you gonna do?
But red flag also
Ooh,
having so many followers and following so many on Instagram.
damn, my problem.
You know what I
It's
mean?
not even my fault.
Social, like just social
I
media
would
in
say like if you don't
general.
have a business, but like, yeah, I see what you're saying. You're kind
It's
of
got
like,
a lot.
yeah.
And I wonder if
Are
it's
they you
like,
try and be like an influencer or something?
you
Like I'd be like
know,
that.
right? But at the same time, he's told me his excuse or his reason for having so many. And it's
Because he's
literally
hot.
just I mean, he is. That's what I'm saying. But he literally, I think he sincerely doesn't think that. Like, I sincerely think that he is very insecure, because like we literally took a shower together, and he was all like, "No, don't touch my back. Don't look at me."
Don't look at
I'm
me.
always you're being shined down, bitch.
Don't look at
We
me.
took acid together. What does that mean?
He's so cute. I
You
love
know what
that.
I mean?
So that's a green flag
Fuck,
or a red
dude.
flag?
A red flag that you have so many followers. A
Oh,
little bit of a red flag, but it's because he partied with a lot of people, and they would always just communicate by following each other on Instagram.
I feel like
That's
if
fine.
you're in college or was he in the college or
He's in the
military?
Navy, yeah, and he did go to college for a
So
little bit.
both. I feel like you're gonna have a lot of followers,
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
when you look like that.
I know, huh? Fuck.
People gonna be asking for your
Shit.
socials when you look a certain way.
I
Okay,
know,
get used to
huh?
it.
I mean, I've been getting a little bit, but not that many. What the
hmm
heck? That's crazy.
But like, you gotta always be like, oh, let me get your Insta.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me get your Insta.
Yeah. I
Practice it.
try to, but then people will be like, "No, I don't really go on Instagram. Like, can I have your number instead?"
No,
You
I'm on
see that?
Insta.
You see that's what I don't like. I hate when guys try to hit on me, and then they'll like that's also a red flag, I
I
guess,
feel
huh?
like if they don't have social media, I'm like, what are you hiding from?
That's a red flag.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you running from?
So much on like you spend a lot of time on social media, a little bit of a red flag. You don't have social media, a little bit of a red flag.
Honestly,
You know.
I would say. I mean, some people are like, yeah, it's for my mental health. I'm like, what about? It's fine.
What about your
That'll
mental
be.
health and keeping in touch with other people? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm a like, you're in
What
a
about a
hermit
funny ass
mode.
meme?
You're hermit mode.
You know?
It's fine. Like, go
That's
ahead.
fine. That's fine. Yeah.
But it's not for
Okay,
me.
beige flag. Beige
Beige
flag, I
flag.
guess. If they don't have social media or if they're on it
Too
too
much.
much.
I'm on social media like all the time.
But yeah, but you also have a business and you
Yeah.
also try to promote your shit a lot, so
Yeah, and I'm always getting followers. So
period.
1,700.
Yes, girl.
Period.
It's
Oh yeah,
going
yeah,
up
1,700.
slowly but surely,
Slowly but
girl.
surely. I want 2K by the time the comic book comes out.
It's okay.
We'll
It'll
see.
happen
Anyway,
eventually.
that's another. We should have a
Yes.
social media episode.
We should,
I think
honestly.
because like both of us have different relationships with it. I feel.
Yeah, and I kind of like having kind of lighthearted conversations like this, because even though it is really nice to like be serious and like give you guys pointers and tips, I think that it's also like nice
Yeah.
to let the audience know who we are
No,
as just
we're like
people.
very like that's why I try to kind of like keep it a little bit more lighthearted nowadays. Is because
Yeah.
like we already went through so many like deep topics,
Yes.
and we came out swinging with a deep topic, which
We
was our
did.
shadow work episode,
Literally.
or what was it, masculine and feminine episode.
Yeah, that
and
was the
then
first
after
one.
that was shadow work, and so
Mhm.
like ever since that we were kind of like we did a couple lighthearted episodes
Yeah,
with
for
our
sure.
with our guests,
Oh, definitely.
but like it just got really I don't want to say dark, but it got really deep.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like we just want people to do better for themselves, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I think that having fun conversations like this is also just something that we always have all the time.
Right.
You know, whenever we come back home, we talk about our day with each other. Like this is what we talk about. You know,
Right.
this is like how we talk, and we're like
Yeah,
giggling like
the
little
exact same
schoolgirls.
here. Like we just talk. Like
Yeah.
there.
I love
So-
it.
But when you had mentioned, because we have like a list of things and we kind of just like pick whichever one is like,
Yeah.
and she said romance, and I was like, ooh,
You're like perfect timing.
perfect timing. I love romance.
And me too, honestly. And that's why I like this intimate relationship that I currently have. I'm going to see where it goes, but I'm not holding out for anything more. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
think that nowadays that should be like the expectation of people going into these kinds of situationships.
Right.
I
We've known a
hated
lot
it.
of people that
Yeah.
demand a lot
Exactly.
right off the bat.
And
even.
it's too much.
Yeah,
Like,
it's too much for them to even cope with mentally and emotionally, and it's also too much for the other person. So if you're currently in a situationship and you're kind of wondering where the heck this is going, like I would just take a moment and really assess like if it's been enough time to actually even be thinking
to talk
in that
about that
situation.
with them, and yeah.
Also,
Like,
if you want a card reading, let me know. I got you.
stop.
$20.
But also, if you're in a situationship and it has been a while since it started, you're more than like honestly, anytime during a situationship, you should be able and willing to be open enough with that other person that you ask them what their expectations are of this like relationship that y'all have. You should be able to have that conversation right off the bat. You should be able to have that conversation with
I
them.
feel like right off the bat, for
2 weeks in is fine. A month in, a few months in, like it's always good to check back like periodically, I think, especially if it is like something that is long standing and they don't necessarily want to call you their girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever they them next. Like, okay, well now you're kind of leading me on into believing like something else is going to happen, or maybe we're
Yeah, don't
just
get let on, y'all.
open, question mark. I don't understand like where this is going. And you don't really ever want to have that feeling of confusion when you're with someone intimately, you know what I mean? Like,
Also, it's dangerous not to know what the other person is kind of doing by themselves or with other people, because
exactly.
they're, sexually transmitted diseases that you have to worry about as well.
Yes.
So that's very much into the gay community
Definitely.
and straight community just as much, because I've known just as many gay people who have got diseases as much as straight people. So
Exactly.
like just making sure that you're careful, and like it's all good fun, like we said, but there's also like a responsibility to this, you know what I mean? So
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely be safe, be secure.
Per-
Love yourself first as well.
Yeah.
I did want to touch a little bit on that, is just the more that you love yourself, the more confident you are in yourself, and the more that you care for yourself, the better your interests are going to be when you go into a relationship with somebody.
Right. Romanticizing your own life before you romanticize a relationship.
External validation is great, you know what I mean? And I did used to thrive off of that. And it
Me
did
too.
kind of catapult me into loving myself.
Right.
Because of how much love I received from other people. They were teaching me how I can talk to myself nicely, teaching me how I can love myself. But at the same time, that's not how I'm going to love myself. I'm going to love myself by spending time alone with my own thoughts, with my own like devices, and by really understanding like what I love about life and what I love about myself, what I bring to the table. And so don't just solely rely on other people and their love for you, you know.
Period.
But it's
Facts.
okay to trust other people to show that love to you. I'm slowly learning that part too.
Period.
So, period. Anything
Nice.
else you want to say about love, life, romance?
Romanticizing your life is a really great key
Ooh.
or door, portal, whatever you want to say, into like just making life a lot more enjoyable.
Here you go.
Is all I'm gonna say.
That's very true.
And also, don't be demanding too much out of people, because
yes, ma'am.
that's crazy.
Oh, and also a green flag is someone who can control themselves.
I love that.
Someone with self-control enough so that they understand that certain drugs are bad. You shouldn't be doing all those kinds of drugs. You shouldn't be overstepping boundaries and stuff like that.
Yes.
Even asking other people where their boundaries are at.
And not just like romantic relationships, but like friendships as well. Like if people are crossing your boundaries, then that is not acceptable.
Yes, exactly.
That is not part of romantic life.
Yeah, no.
Let's see. What's the card at the end? The Tower. Fantastic.
Oh. I wonder who that's for.
That's I don't know. It could be for both of us.
It
Could be for all of us here watching today.
Yeah.
So the Tower is a change card, I would like to call it. It's this tower is coming down.
That's a nice way to put
Right.
it.
This tower is coming down.
Down.
Are you going to be able to jump off of it and accept that it's coming down? Or are you going to stay on the tower while it collapses above you?
Ooh, perspective, baby.
Either way, you're going to come down with the tower.
Okay.
In regards to the Seven of Pentacles, I think this is saying, like, if you do not keep track of your physicality, if you do not keep track of your relationships, your money, your body, the way that you eat. Did I say finances? All that.
Yeah.
Anything physical. A tower moment is going to be a big hit to you. It's also going to be something inevitable when you're not working on any of those things.
Okay.
So making sure that you're grounded, making sure that you're aware of what is going on around you is key when dealing with the tower moment.
Okay. I see now.
Because that tower's coming down.
But it's also just kind of
Be
like,
realistic.
oh,
Let's be realistic.
Yeah, this episode was about romance, and then the tower came out after. So.
I'm chilling.
So just
I'll
me
jump.
then, huh?
I'll jump.
Just
I'll
me,
jump.
huh?
Okay, you jump too.
I'll jump and don't look back.
Don't look back. The tower's coming
That's
down
how
no
you
matter
get
what.
fucking hit,
The
bitch.
tower's coming back, going down no matter what.
You're right.
And the always good thing is that when the tower comes down, there's still a foundation there to improve and build a new tower on top.
Ooh, you know what? Maybe I'm like trying to correlate that to my own personal life, and I think that might have something to do with my own like figures about romanticism and romance, like currently, because I just don't want to. I like refuse to think about other people in a romantic sense, because I'm like, this is a problem. Like I immediately think you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be thinking about somebody in a romantic way. That's weird. Stop. Like, don't do that. I like literally
But
reprimand
it happens for
myself.
a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, but I also like that was just like a really bad habit of mine before, because I would spiral.
So you're like
into that.
overcorrecting.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I am. I definitely think so. But I also have been like
Jump, girl.
getting the tarot from Vanessa Samina. If
What'd
y'all
she
have
say?
never watched her,
Yeah, shout out Vanessa Samina.
You should watch her. What's up, girl? She told me in my September horoscope that like, oh, like a way that you view love is going to change in September, and that there's going to be somebody in your life that will like get that ball rolling for you. And I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, I've been wanting to change my perspective on love, but at the same time, I'm still going to school. So can't be anything too serious, okay, girl? Please, Vanessa.
That's up to you. That's up
Please,
to you.
Vanessa. Okay.
What did mine? I did hers too. What did mine say about mine? Mine was like, if you keep on grinding, success is gonna come your way, and there's also gonna be new love coming into your life. And I'm like, me? It could be. I don't know.
If not, then who? Me.
I don't know.
You
Buy me
know.
dinner. I don't know what might happen.
Green flag.
Green flag.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But I think that's it. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, just practice loving yourself, girl.
Period.
You
Peace and
deserve
love.
it. Yes, be compassionate, not just to yourself, but to other people too.
Period.
There are people that are going through a lot of things that you don't know what they're going through, and
Facts.
it's just easier to be positive and send positive vibes, because then that will attract positivity to you. So
Right.
I don't think that I would have gotten anywhere, especially intimacy wise, if I weren't like this. So period, girl. Be positive.
Be positive.
Think good things.
Yeah.
All right, but other than that,
follow us on Instagram, subscribe and like, or else.
And
will do
also
witchcraft.
check us out on Spotify, on Apple Music, Amazon, Google Play Store. Yeah, that's
There you go.
it, baby. Avocado Poppy, first generation. Peace out. Have a good day.
Whatever.